Rapunzel. It was. I had so much. There was so much hair at the on the floor. I could have created a poodle. It was bad.
Beautiful. Really
Hey, Rev.
Hey y'all, how you doing? They're looking good. What's there?
Hmm.
I'm trying to see how to make this thing small.
Do we have a lot of people who signed up for today?
Not a whole lot. About the same amount as last week. We had 88 the last time I looked, but there may be more. Sometimes they'll send a link to friends, or people literally were signing up last week as the session was happening. So, see. But do y'all feel good about kind of the setup and everything we're doing? Any questions about anything?
Is there a specific order?
Courtney, the only thing I have next week, I may have to get somebody to come in for me because I commit my aunt has to have a procedure done and I'm her transportation and I'm not sure I'll be back home by noon.
Okay, and usually we actually change out the panelists.
Oh, well, good. That's fine. Okay,
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, the only one who has to get on every week is me, but try to give y'all a break.
Okay, because when I looked at the schedule, I said, oops, not good on the 31st. Okay.
No worries. So, and I just sent y'all an email maybe about 10 minutes ago with some of the questions they sent in ahead of time.
Yeah, I did. I saw it.
Okay, so all right, we're cool with that. We're cool with the order. Okay, Megan, are you about to log in? Once Megan logs on, I'm gonna open up the room because it takes a few minutes for everybody to get in. So once they're on, we won't see them, but they will see us. So if you're like talking and stuff right now, they'll see that, and that's okay.
Morning.
Right.
So, Courtney, quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
You said the email you sent us, that is the order?
I sent the order a few days ago, but what order do y'all want to go in? Because it actually doesn't matter. I usually put you last, LaToya, just because you get the most questions. But do y'all want to go Miss Rob,
I'll find
Rev, Megan, Miss Lewis?
That sounds fine.
All right, cool. So that's what we'll do. So student support, religious life, SEAL, and then housing. And then after you do your kind of spiel, then I'll kind of ask questions from the text box. Some of the questions in the text box, y'all, are not good, so I usually just answer those and get them out of the way because it's usually a very specific question. All right, I'm gonna open up the room now. Me and these gray hairs. All right, we got folks coming in. Good morning, y'all, for everyone that's joining us. We are so excited to chat with y'all today. We just opened the room, so we're giving time for folks to come in, and then we will start shortly. If you do have any questions, feel free to put those in the Q&A, and I will pass those along to our panelists. So we'll be starting shortly.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
Good. It's very, very nasty outside.
It is. It's loud out here. It's about me.
I didn't realize how nasty it was when I walked out of the door this morning. Okay. All right. So.
Hey, we're live, Dr. Bullock.
Okay. Great.
Yeah.
right, so are we ready to get started?
We're letting a few more people come in. We
Okay.
just opened the room about 2 minutes ago, so a few people are still trickling in. So we'll start soon. But yeah, y'all, it's raining today in New Orleans. So if we experience any bad connections, that is probably the reason why. But send your questions in and we'll be sure to get those answered.
All right.
All right, y'all, we'll wait about another minute or so and then we will get started. All right, there's Dean Saylor. Hey, Dean Saylor, welcome.
Morning.
Hey,
All right, y'all, we're gonna wait about 30 more seconds and then we will jump right in.
and Courtney, I'm in the car, so I'm gonna leave my video off. Okay.
Okay, sounds good. No problem. All right, good morning. Welcome to our second week of our Campus Life and Student Services webinar. We are very excited to chat with you today. We have some great panelists on the line and we will let them introduce themselves in just a moment. We will kick it off to Dr. Bullard first, though, to give us a general introduction, and then each of the panelists will kind of take some time and answer some of the questions that you all have already sent in. If you do have any other questions as we're speaking, please drop them into the Q&A and we will answer them live or we will pass them along to the panelists. So without further ado, Dr. Bullard.
Thanks, Dr. Williams. Good morning, everybody. Thanks so much for taking some time to chat with us today. Each week on Fridays, we will take an opportunity for you to interact with different folks from the Dillard community, whether it's from the student success area, financial aid, different areas that we will invite into this space so that you can have a better insight into what to expect heading into this fall. As we have sent out, you've seen a copy of our return to campus plan. Right now, we're queued up to be here together in the fall, just under some different configurations. So we want you to have the opportunity to just ask us questions about what that will look like so that you and your family can make good decisions as we head into this fall. A couple of questions that I wanted to answer really quickly, and then we've got some great experts on the phone who will be able to get into specifics. One of the main questions that folks have been asking is around testing. And the initial plan that we sent out said that folks would need to be tested before heading to campus. Now, since that, as has been the case with all the logistics of COVID-19, there's been some changes in the way that testing is available. There's been some, decrease in the way that testing is available for the general community. So you can't get tested as easily as you could, say, just 30 days ago. And so what we are wanting to do is to be sure that folks know that if you are in that situation, so our expectation is if you have the ability to go and get a test in your community, if you have a community testing space where you can go and get a test, we would ask that you go and do that, okay? If you cannot get the test done, then expect that once you come to campus, that you would be in a situation where you would be tested in very short order after getting to campus, okay? We have just literally right before I came on this call, just learned of an organization who will be able to test all of the local area colleges and universities over about a 2-week period, the rapid test. And so we're really excited about that because it'll mean that folks who have the ability to get a test at their home site will be able to do that shortly after getting to campus. So that will be done. The other part of that testing conversation is if you go and get a test, say you get a test, you're in, Atlanta, and you get a test there in Atlanta. You can't get the test and then go out into the local community and hang out and do all kinds of things and re-expose yourself, because that test is only as good as is the time that you took it. So if you took it on Thursday, then you go out and do a whole lot of things out in the community on Friday, then you could be infected and that test is now invalid. So we're going to ask that you would have a level of accountability and responsibility to the Dillard community that you're looking to join over the next couple of weeks by getting your test and remaining as best as possible, sort of isolated and quarantining your space with just your family and close associates, and then come back to campus. And then shortly after you get here, then you may be tested again once you get back to campus. So the last part I'll say, and then I'm going to toss it to probably Ms. Lewis, who's next on my screen and top going across, is that if you have the results of your test, you simply would just need to hold on to those until you get to campus. We're not at this point requiring for you to turn those in. Folks have been asking, how do we send those in securely beforehand? You will simply bring those test results with you through paper or screenshot or whatever way that you receive your results. Bring those with you so that we have a baseline of who's been tested and who still needs to be tested. But we will want you to be sure that you have that test if you have that availability, okay? All right, I'll answer other questions in sort of about campus life and those kinds of things as we move along. But let me bounce to Ms. Lewis, and then we will move from left to right and then see if there are any other questions that we can answer. Ms. Lewis.
Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. Good morning if you're on the West Coast. I am Ms. Latoya Lewis, the Area Coordinator for Residential Life and Judicial Programs here at Dillard University. And so some of the questions that were submitted prior to the call today was regarding roommates. And then someone asked, how will rooming and a double look for this year? So for students who submitted applications, and it depends on, of course, when the application was submitted, if you requested a roommate, then those students were paired together in a room. For students in traditional halls, then that means you are in the same room together. For some, they may be suite mates, but they're in the same suite or the same room. For students who are in apartments, you're assigned to the same apartment, but you have your own bedroom. Someone asked, okay, how will rooming in a double look for this year? So the rooms that have been identified as doubles are large enough to where two people can stay in the same room and have at least 6 feet of distance between the two. So these rooms have been walked by our facilities risk manager, and those the furniture, I believe, is going to be set up in a way that the room is divided. Students, of course, when you get here, you are able to change the room furniture around only after your roommate moves in. So we always kind of give you guys that caution. Later on during the call, I'll share with you guys how you can access other services that we provide in the residence hall once you get here.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Now, next up, we'll have Ms. Robinson from Student Support Services.
Greetings and welcome. I'm Ellen Robinson, and I'm the Science Lab Coordinator for Student Support Services. And my staff, our staff, who's led by Mrs. Riddell Rose, we are here to provide you with support that is going to include tutoring. It's going to include time management, academic enhancement in science, math, and Spanish. We also, in our suite, provide counseling services. We are ready to offer these services virtually as well as face-to-face this year. Our primary goal is your retention and your progression so that you finish in 4. That's our goal, so that we're here to help you in any way that we can. Our objective is to help you to improve your performance, your persistence, and to enable you to negotiate all of your academics and personal challenges with the greatest amount of ease and the greatest amount of support. So I believe someone asked the question, who would their counselor be? And our counselor, the university counselor, is Mrs. Cheryl Smith, and she can be reached at smith@dillard.edu. Any other questions that you might have, you can direct them also to our Student Support Services office, which is sss@dillard.edu. And we look forward to working with you in the fall. And we want you to come and visit us as soon as you get here so we can help you to hit the ground running with success. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Ms. Robinson. We appreciate it. Next up, we'd like to hear from Reverend Brisbane.
Hello, everyone. I greet you all on this wonderful day. Here is raining, but nevertheless, it's a good day. I'm excited for your return here on campus as we're gearing up for the fall. And our overall theme is coming from, for some of you, you may be familiar with it, but it's an old show that Bill Cosby had out, and it's a different world. And so we're excited with dealing with that and just moving forward and seeing how we can bring some newness to a new reality. One of the things that we will be doing and focusing on is providing some COVID assistance around grief, because I know that this has been a big thing, and we're going to be partnering with the Counseling Center to see how we can do some virtual small groups and things of that nature to kind of help facilitate our journey. Also with our fall worship, I'm excited that we're going to be able to provide some social distancing opportunities for worship along with the virtual component with our worship on Sunday, but then we're going to have 2 other opportunities midweek. Message in the Middle will be an opportunity at noontime, but then one that I would like to introduce is a Knock at Midnight worship, which is going to be an opportunity for persons to have an alternative worship experience at night, Tuesday nights. We're going to look at it at 12 o'clock. I know for some of you all wondering, okay, 12 o'clock, but you're still up, so we can come together and do that. And one of the things that we are very mindful of, we understand around the Vision Quest Choir, it's going to have to be a new format as we move forward and just develop some praise teams, opportunities for persons to sing and participate in those services. So if you got a voice or a gift of playing or just want to lip sync the words for somebody that don't know the words, we give you the opportunity to do that. And I'm just excited because we got a number of opportunities for spiritual development, including Bible studies, both virtual and social distance. So we're going to have information for you to put in your hand when we see you face to face in about 3 weeks. So I'm just excited. If you have any questions, you can contact me at hbrisbane, HBRISBON @dillard.edu. And look forward to your questions.
Thank you very much, Reverend Brisbane. Next up, we will hear from Ms. Byers, who'll talk to us a little bit about campus recreation, student engagement, and all that good stuff.
Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's having a great summer despite COVID. I am the Student Engagement and Leadership Coordinator. I am going to just mention a few things in regards to student events, student life, and engagement when it comes to campus recreation. So for the first thing, Student Union will be open. We will allow students to still utilize our spaces through a reservation process on Blue Connect. We will also be able to have campus recreation. So we will have group fitness classes. We won't have them regularly scheduled, but we will still have group fitness classes from time to time. We will still have sports and recreation programs as it pertains to the COVID guidelines at the time. And so we will also have student organizations able to have events in person as long as it adheres to the COVID guidelines and the guidelines that we have as an office. So if you guys have any questions in regards to those, please feel free to contact us at studentengagement@dillard.edu, or you can contact me personally at mbias@dillard.edu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Megan. And just to add to that, because I've been getting a few questions as well about will my organization be able to host events and all that good stuff. Yes, we are revising our guidelines. As Dr. Bullard said, things kind of change very rapidly. So we are taking all the guidelines from the city and the state. And so we want to make sure we get you the most updated information. So we will share that out in the coming weeks. But if you have any questions prior to that, please just let us know. So now we will open the floor for questions. So Ms. Lewis, there are a few questions about residential life in the chat. So most of them are about just double rooms, if they'll be able to switch next semester, and kind of what the process is.
Okay, so right now, every student who applied for housing received the email, well, 2 emails on yesterday, but specifically the one that you received late last night around 11 something. We're asking that you submit your inquiries using that online ticket system that we've created. That is the best way to get your concern answered if it's a specific question. The reason we created that is because everyone's situation is different and unique. So for students who are asking, well, hey, can I change next semester? Honestly, that depends on how this pandemic plays out. So we can't give you a concrete answer to that right now. We certainly want to be considerate of students' needs and your personal requests. If students have any personal ADA accommodating needs, we want you to email us right away because we want that to be settled before you get here. So if you have any of those types of requests, go ahead, submit the online ticket. Sorry, I think I went on mute. You may not receive a response immediately, but we are going to respond to you. For some students who have specific requests regarding a room type, that may not be able to be changed. One of the things we want you guys to understand is that different students are arriving on different days. And so we have to tell our partners on campus, our facilities partners, hey, this is the date we want this room to be ready. If we start changing room assignments behind the scenes, that then impacts their ability to have your space ready for when you are supposed to come. Once the room assignments, once the rooms are cleaned, we can't ask our facility staff to then double back and go do something else because we gave them the wrong date. And so that's a large reason as to why most of these room assignments cannot be changed. In addition to that, the same is true for our partners at SUNO. We do not own SUNO apartments, but we have a really good relationship with their staff. They are ready to meet you. They have their own set of rules, and we have to follow what they say. So for students who are saying, well, hey, can I get this at SUNO, or can this be changed? Most likely, we have to get that cleared through their office first. And so we're probably not able to give you a concrete response as fast as you would like. And so if there are any spaces or any changes for us to consider in the spring term, if we're able to have more than one person in one room, depending on what phase we're in, we certainly will do that. Because right now we do want you to have a nice residential experience while you're here, but we also want you to know we are going to focus very heavily on the health and safety of everybody in the community. And so I know a lot of folks are saying, hey, well, we want to come back and we want to do this. We want you to enjoy the experience, but we also want you to know, because you're going to spend a lot of time in your room, there's not going to be a lot of time for you guys to socialize in groups within the residence hall. So for us, it's imperative that A, you do have a housing assignment, B, you do have charges on your account so that you can be cleared and that your schedule's not purged. That's our focus right now. If there's any room to honor any room change or building change requests, we will do what we can, but the priority right now is to have the charges on your account so that you can be cleared. I'm not sure if this question is in the chat, but students have been sending emails about meal plans in SUNO. Anyone that resides at SUNO will get a targeted email just to you to let you know what your meal plan options are and what we want you to do. So you guys will have the opportunity to select your preferred meal plan and that email is going to go out to you next week.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Ms. Megan, there's a question on here. What is Blue Connect and how do we log in? Can you take that?
Sure. So Blue Connect is our online platform that allows Dillard students, Dillard community to know what's happening on campus. So we've been working with our student organizations to renew and to update their information so that as incoming students are coming on campus and they're here virtually and in person, they're able to see what is going to happen on campus on a day-to-day basis. So you will get news articles, events, you will get announcements, all of that type of information on Blue Connect. The way to log in is dillard.campuslabs.com/engage. Again, if you have any questions specifically regarding Blue Connect as to how to log in, I can definitely help you log in. It's easy. As long as you have your Dillard information, you should be able to access the information to Blue Connect.
Thank you very much. Dr. Bullock, there was a question that came up that said, are there any facilities that will be restricted once we come on campus? Do you want to take that one?
I don't think there will be any facilities that will be restricted. I think it'll be more about how facilities may be used differently than they were before. So a good example may be like Henson Gym. Henson Gym may be used for classroom spaces and may be used for commuter support. There'll be lots of different possibilities. And so you just have to be flexible as you can to say, okay, this is how this space is now being used. But some of the spaces that were restricted in the fall, such as what Ms. Megan mentioned was about the gym and that whole area. All of those areas will now be on a reservation system. So those are not spaces that will be restricted at any point this fall. If for some reason we determine that they pose some higher level of health hazard or those kinds of things, then we will reserve the right to say, okay, we won't use that space at this point. But at this point, we feel like we've got good restrictions in place to help us to be able to keep them clean and allow them to be safe for you to use. So no, we don't have any that are restricted at this point.
Great, thank you. Another question that came in privately, and I'll take this one. What activities will still be available for students to engage with one another? So we will still have student activities like Ms. Megan talked about. We are moving a lot of our activities online into the virtual presence. So we may be doing things on Instagram, on Zoom, on Google Hangouts, and things like that. So that kind of in-person programming and events will be very limited, but we have been really researching ways to kind of think outside of the box to keep you all connected. So we have lots of ideas, and so we will be sharing those with you, like I said, in the coming weeks. So just stay tuned for that information. And if you have suggestions or if you see something that another school that's doing that looks pretty cool, feel free to send those our way, and we are happy to explore those. The next question for Ms. Lewis, is August 14th the concrete move-in day for returning students?
We have staggered move-in for returners based on the building that you live in. We will be sending that email out next week to let you know your official arrival date. For our returning students, we may ask you to sign up for a specific time block. We're still working through those logistics because we do have some university events that are happening around the same time. So we want to make sure we're going to have enough police to be able to help with parking and traffic flow. So you guys are going to get that email next week. But it will be, to answer the question, the 14th and the 15th for continuing students. That is the date we are going to ask you to arrive. And please be mindful, you have to be fiscally cleared in order to receive keys. Students who are approved to move in will get an email. Students who are not fiscally cleared will also receive an email. So it's imperative that you read your own email and not something that someone sends to you, because it may not apply to you.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. The next question is, when is orientation? So SOAR Week, which is our new student orientation, will start on Tuesday, August 11th. We'll be having 2 move-in days this year. So again, like Ms. Lewis said, you will receive an email that will tell you which day you move in. And so based on that, that is when you will start your orientation. So it will be Tuesday, August 11th, or it'll be Wednesday, August 12th. And so you should have been receiving some emails from soar@dillard.edu about that. But you will get more information, and we will invite them to join this meeting next week to tell you more about it. The next question can be for Rev or Dr. Bullard. How will community service work?
For this fall, tentatively, just for this fall, community service will be waived right now due to COVID. And so more information is going to be coming down the pipeline as to how we're going to reset community service. So I'm just be attentive to your email, and we're going to make sure that that information is forthcoming for you. So if you still want to do your do community service, we're not stopping you, but it's not going to be required for this semester.
Thank you, Reverend Brisbane. The next question, again about orientation. What if you're a commuter? What does orientation look like? You will still need to come to SOAR Week and orientation. If you're a commuter student, you will receive a same email that will tell you which day to come and get started, and then you will follow the schedule just as everyone else. We will have some specific sessions for commuter students and for transfer students as well. So more information to come on that. But if you have specific questions about orientation, you can send them to me, or you can send them to soar@dillard.edu, and we'll be happy to get those answered for you. Another question, when and where do you get your ID cards? You will receive your IDs once you arrive to campus. They'll come from the Office of Auxiliary Services. If you are a new student, you've been receiving an email that says, hey, you can send your picture in ahead of time. So I'd encourage you to do that. If you send your picture in ahead of time, we'll have it printed for you, and it will either be in your mailbox or it'll be in your SOAR welcome pack when you arrive. So go ahead and do that, or if not, you'll take your picture when you get here on that first day, and then they'll give you your ID on that same day. Let's see. Other questions, a few more housing questions. One, Ms. Lewis, was if I have a large family, can more than 1 or 2 people help me move in?
So for our August 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th move-in days, we are implementing our campaign, which is U+2. You will only be allowed to have 2 members in your 2 additional members in your party when you arrive to move in.
Great, thank you very much. The next question is, do we buy our books online or at the campus bookstore? So I'll let Ms. Robb or Dr. Bullard answer that one.
Well, the campus bookstore will be equipped with the books that you are going to be expected to utilize. I don't think it's a requirement that you necessarily purchase them there, but that will be a personal decision. But you certainly will be able to access everything that is required by your professors that will be, in stock at the bookstore. And so you can visit the bookstore and make your decisions from there.
Thank you, Ms. Robb. And again, you all will receive a syllabus from your professors that will have your books on there. Most of those will be at the bookstore. You can check that out, or you can also check any other bookseller like Amazon.com or anywhere else. So that's that. Okay, so some of the questions that are coming in have already been answered. A lot of them about Res Life, they've been answered, and we will send out the recording for this after today. So you'll be able to watch it again. We'll also send a couple of documents out, like Ms. Lewis said, which outlines a lot of these things. The next question, are there any on-campus jobs still? Yes, so basically what you received from financial aid was probably something that said you've been assigned federal work study as a part of your financial aid package. Once you arrive to school, you will have an opportunity to meet with financial aid and meet with the various employers on campus, and then you'll be able to be placed in one of those offices as your job. So don't worry quite yet. So you shouldn't have received anything else yet. So as long as you know you have it, you'll be able to get matched up with a job once you arrive to campus. If you have questions about that, you can reach out to financial aid at financialaid@dillard.edu, and they will be able to assist you with the process. Ms. Lewis, one more time, because we have this question coming up. Can you talk about the U+2 program? Make sure people have a good understanding of that.
So to lower the density of all of the folks we have on campus, we have to be mindful that there are several things happening simultaneously on the move-in days. And so we cannot have a large number of families per student in the residence halls or on the campus, because then that will increase the number of persons that we have here. So we're trying to be compliant, with the campus structure of what our president has been, instructed to do by local and state officials. And so we have to also keep that in mind, that when students come to move in, we know everybody comes. It's a family affair, if you will. We know that, but under these circumstances, we have to change and we have to adapt and adjust. Therefore, in your total party, it can be no more than 3 persons, including you. So that's you plus 2 other persons. That's only going to be allowed in the residential hall space to move you in. That includes apartments as well as the SUNO apartments. Their staff will have their campus police at a certain checkpoint, allowing persons onto the property. And then once you get to the Dillard University checkpoint area, you should have already been screened by the SUNO person at the front gate to say, hey, yes, this person is compliant with the number of persons allowed on the property. You can move forward to the Dillard checkpoint to check in. Also, just a note, once again, we are trying to be very mindful of everyone's health and safety. So we're going to have drive-up check-ins. You won't get out of the vehicle at all. You'll go to your designated checkpoint, whether you're checking in on the 11th and 12th or the 14th and 15th. You'll have a designated space to come to. You'll remain in your car. But once again, those details will be emailed to you guys. We're still working through some of the logistics to make sure we don't have hundreds of people concentrated in one area at the same time.
Wonderful. Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Dr. Bullard, here's a question for you. So I've been placed at SUNO. Will I need to walk to Dillard to come to campus every day, or will there be transportation provided?
So there will be a shuttle that will be available for students who are over at SUNO. The shuttle will run, it's usually about once every hour, but I know that there will be some adjustments to that schedule based on the fact that we'll have more students over there. And so this fall, there will be a shuttle, and now we're actually looking at expanding the shuttle service since we have more students over on that campus. So you'll get information about that. Usually there is a SUNO student listserv or email group that's just for those students that will provide communication and announcements if the shuttle's running late, or there's more opportunities or whatever. Ms. Michelle will typically email you and let you know what that is. All I'm asking is that students exercise a level of flexibility. So if you have a class that's at 8 o'clock, don't get on the shuttle at 7:52 and then go, oh my goodness, I'm late for class because I got on the shuttle too late, or whatever the case is. We really are going to have to be really flexible. You may have to be on campus a little earlier than you typically would be, but this is the kind of thing that we've got to do to try to be socially distanced and so on and so forth. It's my understanding that they'll be screening folks before they get onto the shuttles. I think they're going to do the temperature checks before they get onto the shuttle, and then there'll be socially distanced seating on the shuttle. So you'll probably only be able to sit a couple of seats together as you are moving around on the shuttle. So, which means what? It's lessening the number of people that are on the shuttle. So we'll have to take all of that into consideration. So I hope that answers questions.
Dr. Bullard, I will just add to your comments about the shuttle and folks getting on. Unless you are a resident at SUNO, then you will not be able to come onto the property. So that was actually a concern shared from their police to our administrators to say, hey, oftentimes you guys have students who do not live on the property get on your shuttle on the campus, but then they come over and it's sometimes outside of the guest and visitation hours. But this year, because of all of the different COVID changes, only residents will be able to take the shuttle to SUNO.
Great, thank you, Ms. Lewis.
Hey, Dr. Courtney, I'm trying to, there's somebody wrote a question that said about the meal plan for SUNO. I'm just trying to get some clarification on that question. So I don't know if somebody wants to answer. Ms. Lewis, do you understand the context of that question?
I didn't see the question, but I did touch on it a little earlier. Anyone that resides at SUNO will receive an email from us next week asking you to select the meal plan that you want. And so right now, so Dr. Bullard, this is referring to a conversation that, we had internally about food insecurities and things like that. So as of now, all persons at SUNO have what we call an M4 or M5 meal plan, depending on your classification. So you either have 16 meals a week with DU dollars, or you have 15 meals a week with DU dollars. For those of you who say, hey, I'm not going to be on campus that much, or hey, I'd like to lower the number of meals per week, you will have the option to do so, but you have to wait for that email to come out. And again, there's so many changes that's happening every day. The reason you don't have that email now is because we're trying to make sure we send it out when our rosters are most accurate. And because we have different things happening, we don't want to miss anyone. But we also want you to know you should not be worried about your clearance, as the meal plan rates are different for 15, 16, and those that are 7 and 9. So you can go online now, just Google Dillard University tuition, and you can look at those rates if you're concerned about clearance. Look at your student account, do the math, and you're able to figure it out based on what you want to select.
Okay, so yeah, that definitely answers the question, because I think they're concerned about whether or not the communication about the meal plans is coming in a timely fashion for them to be able to select. But you're absolutely correct. The information for the meal plan is on the website, like she said, under Dillard tuition, and you should be able to determine what the amount is that you'll need to pay. So, okay, thank you, Ms. Lewis.
Great, thank you. The last few questions that we have, and this one has come through a few times, Ms. Lewis, so if you could answer this one live for us again. If our housing assignment lists a roommate, are they our roommate or suite mate? And also, what are the campus visitation rules? Okay,
so if you see a person's name, that person resides in the same space as you. That differs for students who are in apartments versus traditional halls. If you live in an apartment, then you guys have your own bedrooms. If you live in a traditional hall, you are in the same space with that person. And you also likely have a suite mate. We don't, the system is not designed to pull in suite mate information. So if you do not see anyone's name and you're in a traditional hall, then that means you are occupying that room by yourself, unless you are in a true double and somebody just hasn't been assigned yet. So again, if you have a specific question, then go ahead and submit that online inquiry ticket, because this is a generic answer, but it's not the same for every single person. So if you have a question, let us know. But again, if you're in an apartment, if you see your roommate's name, you guys have your own bedrooms. If you're in a traditional hall and you see a roommate name, more than likely you are in the same room with that person.
Thank you. And what about the visitation policy between main campus and SUNO?
So visitors, only students who live in that specific hall will be able to visit within the hall. Visitation hours are 10 a.m. to midnight. students will not be able to visit in different residence halls. So if I live in Williams, I cannot go over to Camp Hartsel to visit. If I live in Williams, I can't go over to Gentilly Gardens to visit. So you have to visit within your hall. Once again, this is trying to lower the possibility of other folks being exposed. We know that you guys are not just going to stay in your rooms. You are going to likely go out, in the city and go off campus and do things. We understand that, but we do have to consider the fact that you are living in a community with hundreds of other people. And so we have to reduce, any type of risk of exposure and cross-contamination. So if you guys have any specific questions, submit an inquiry ticket. We will be sending out future communications outlining the guest and visitation policies. This is included in our residential life guide. And so we will go over that. We'll have some residence life specific emails regarding what you can and cannot do with some of the changes. Once again, if you live on main campus and you're not a resident at SUNO, you will not be able to go onto the property.
Thank you, Ms. Lewis. Dr. Bullard or Dr. Saylor, a question came through. How do I contact Student Health?
Unfortunately, I don't have the number right offhand with me, but Student Health, they are in the office. They have office hours usually in the morning from between like 9 to 1 or 9 to 2. So I don't know, Dr. Bullard, if you have the number like right in front of you, but they can reach out to them or via email.
Yep, and I put an email into the answer box as well, and I will put the phone number in there as well.
Okay, great. Dr. Bullard, do you happen to know the dining hall hours?
I know they will be extended this fall. I do not know the exact hours. One of the things that we're actually working with them on right now is the possibility of having the hours of the dining hall expanded through the day so that students will be able to access it throughout the day. So really I'm hoping that's something that even before COVID, we were really hoping to get accomplished. And so we will continue to work with them, and hopefully by the time you all get here, that'll be something that we can do is to have them have the hours expanded throughout the day so that you'd have access to it first thing in the morning all the way up until the last class in the evening. Now, you may not have access to all of the stations during that time frame, but at minimum, you'd have access to some level of food utilizing your card throughout the day and be able to use your meals at different times. So I think that's something that would be of good use to our students.
Thank you. And for the person who asked that question, I did just post a link to the website, and it's actually updated. So right now what we're doing, because we're in summer period, we are updating each week. However, once school starts, it will have the hours for the semester. And if anything changes, it will be reflected on the website in real time. You can also follow them on Twitter as well. So the hours will be prominent and posted in a lot of places. So as we prepare to wrap up, I just want to ask the panelists, are there any final remarks you all would like to share or any helpful information, and how do students get in touch with you? So we'll start with Ms. Robinson.
Well, one of the things that I would like to impress, especially for new students who are coming to Dillard, is that if you're a freshman or you've been out of school for a while, tutoring in lower grades tends to have a negative connotation, but it is the norm, and having support services and tutoring centers on a university campus does not have any of those connotations. We're here because we're here on all campuses, and it's a no judgment zone. We want you to make yourselves available for the services that we offer, and we can be reached at the phone number that where we can be reached is 504-816-4715, and we want you to, my email is erobinson@dillard.edu. Our academic skills coordinator, Mrs. Hermine Jones, can be reached at hjones dillard.edu. And we are looking forward to meeting you as soon as you arrive.
Thank you very much. Reverend Brisbane.
Just excited and looking forward to connecting with you all in the fall. It's about strong faith as we journey through this season. If you have any questions for me, I can be contacted at my email, hbrisbane, HBRISBON, at dillard.edu, or the office number, which is 504-816-4555.
Thank you. Ms. Bias.
Yes, I just actually wanted to stress one thing that I forgot to mention before. So with the reservations, we definitely will have reservations, even for spaces that we normally wouldn't have reservations for example, like the fitness center. So more details to come in regards to how you can access spaces like the fitness center and maintain that level of engagement during a time like this. But again, the best way to reach me is my email, B as in boy, YAS, mbias @dillard.edu, or you can contact the entire department, student engagement, at dillard.edu for any follow-up information.
Thank you. Ms. Lewis.
Okay, thank you guys for joining us once again. The best way to contact us now, if you have to send an email, it's housing@dillard.edu. If you received the email last night with the housing announcements and you have specific housing assignment questions, then submit the online ticket, and that link was provided in your email last night.
Thank you very much. Dr. Saylor.
Oh, no. Thank you all for being here and for your questions. And please, as all have said, if you have specific information about your personal circumstance, please let us know so that way we can try to get that resolved for your answer for you as soon as possible.
Thank you. Finally, Dr. Bullard, how do folks get in touch with you, and any final thoughts from you?
So I'm at rbullard@dillard.edu. I really do want to stress the importance of ensuring that as you reach out to different folks, that you follow up with them. If you cannot get them for some reason in short order, please do email me or Dr. Saylor or the Residential Life team. We do want to be as responsive as we can, but we know that it's a busy time for everybody. So I just want to thank you all for taking this time today and I'm asking all of the questions that you did. Again, we will have access to this recording shortly.
Thank you, Dr. Bullard, and thank you to all of our panelists. That will conclude our session for today. If you have additional questions, please feel free to send them to us. You can send them directly to me. I think you all have my email, or you can send them to Student Engagement or any of the accounts, campus announcements, and we will send them out to our panelists prior to next week's discussion. If there's a panelist that you would like to see next week, let us know that as well, and we are happy to invite them. We thank you so much for tuning in today, and we don't have any more questions in the chat, so that will be it for us. You all have a safe and blessed week. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves, and please make sure you are checking your email and washing your hands. Y'all have a great week. We'll talk to you soon.